Welcome back to the SpongeBob review videos where, you guessed it, I review some SpongeBob. Today we'll be taking a look at Patnocchio, a seemingly interesting storyline that the show hasn't really done before. In this episode, Plankton tells Patrick he's his conscience so he can convince the wooden-headed star to steal him a Krabby Patty. Based on that plot alone, of course things seem super generic and unoriginal because, oh no you guys, Plankton's after the secret formula again! I just wonder what could possibly happen. I definitely haven't seen the situation 100 other times in the show before. Well, yeah, some of that stuff is true. Patnocchio still tries out something new and deviates from the typical formula of the series. It's narrated by Karen to be a fairy tale, though she barely plays any role at all other than that. Patrick is dressed up as Pinocchio and there are some nice references, despite them being kinda predictable. Everything in this episode is centered around Plankton and Patrick as the Krabby Patty secret formula is in danger of being discovered. The story leads them both to Goofy Goober's ice cream party boat, and immediately that's a surprise to pretty much everyone watching. This was the second time we actually got a glimpse of this restaurant, with it appearing only once before in the incredible first SpongeBob movie. What I really liked is that the same green worker guy is finally back, and he's still hating his job every day. To be honest, not a whole lot actually happens in this place, although the fact that it returned at all is enough to get me hyped. Patnocchio's storyline, despite going with an interesting fairy tale path, is nothing special. At its heart, it is yet another one of those endless episodes of Plankton trying to get the Krabby Patty secret formula. Some of those can be done really well, but at this point it has gotten so repetitive to the point where you can predict what happens next, though that's not the case with every single scene. One weird part about this episode people probably aren't expecting is that Patrick and Plankton head inside Pearl's body. Okay, what's going on? Why is this happening? Because she eats the Krabby Patty, and of course they have to dive into her mouth instead of going back to the Krusty Krab to get a new one. But if we're talking about more reasons this story wasn't great, it's due to it being a Patrick themed episode with only a few appearances from SpongeBob. Because focusing on the comedic relief character rarely works out in anything, this story in Patnocchio suffered. There are probably only a few Patrick themed episodes in the entire series that I would call good. Now you may be wondering how the comedy in this episode is, and none of it is really worth mentioning. Like all post-sequel episodes, there are some jokes that'll have you laughing out loud, but Patnocchio specifically doesn't exceed the standard for SpongeBob humor. Maybe it's just the fact that modern Patrick is nowhere near as great as the old days, or how he isn't as funny when the spotlight is directly on him for an episode, but his lines just weren't amazing. Overall, would I recommend Patnocchio? Well, if you're absolutely desperate for new SpongeBob content, then yeah. However, to most people I'm gonna say you should just pass on this episode because it's not too entertaining. The Goofy Goober return scene was by far the main highlight and awesome to see, but there's not really much else that Patnocchio offers. The fairy tale theme wasn't expanded upon and it really felt like a typical episode with only a few random references thrown in. I guess if I had to say something else nice about Patnocchio, it's the title. Whoever thought of that on the crew, you're a pretty punny person! But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give it a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.